Most of the time I can't understand Matt though.
When he said the other day, just play it around the Jimmy Allner.
And Emma's like this.
Face like this.
Dance out.
Down south, you don't get beaches down there unless they're man-made, mate.
What said in our change room stays in our
Stays,
change
yeah,
room.
doesn't leave.
It's not for.
TV.
So, episode 2 of the Women's Show. We are joined by Gilly and Rylee. Welcome, girls. It's your first time on, isn't it? Are you excited? Yeah,
Okay.
you'll see.
I'm nervous for you.
I'll ask at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Nervous for us. I'm nervous for you.
No, I'm more like concerned what you're going to ask us, you know?
You'll be fine. But we always ask one question at the start of the show. So this is the first one, right? Get it out of the way. Why did you want to become a footballer?
I was so energetic as a kid. My parents needed to find a way to tame me, and they put me on a football pitch and let me run around for like an hour, 2 hours, and then I'd come home and sleep all day. It ended up working out well. My dad obviously played football, and the English background kind of helped, but that was the main reason. I was too energetic.
Just to literally burn some energy.
It's like childcare, isn't it? I feel like a lot of parents just like, oh, we'll put the kids into sport, and it's just like, oh, we'll pay like a $5 or a $10.
We'll pick you up in an hour and a half.
And then those days you get fed like oranges and everything, so you get lunch for free. You don't have to worry about
Fed and
anything.
watered.
Yeah.
Gilly, anything different?
Nothing.
Were you as energetic?
No, I weren't. I definitely weren't. I was an all-rounder. And then I remember watching the telly one day, and my dad had a football game on. And I said, Dad, I want to play whatever this is. What is this? He's like, it's football. I was only about 7 or 8 at the time. I said, I want to learn how to play football. My dad used to play football when he was younger. So he's got 4 daughters. So imagine him, he's like buzzing because he's like, he never had a son. So he was sort of like, obviously you're interested in football. So he said to me, I'm not going to teach you nothing or talk to you about it. I want to see if you're serious or not.
Right.
You got to go and learn how to hold the ball in your foot, just outside. So I went 3 weeks solid, like right foot every day. And I was buzzing. I said, Dad, look, I can do it. And he went, right, go and do it with your left now. So I was like, So it took me a little bit longer. But after that, he used to like take me to the park and teach me everything, like all the basics and that. And it started from there. But it wasn't something that, not like when you read about children like from the age of like 1 or 2, they're kicking a ball. Like that weren't me.
That's a lovely start. Thank you, girls.
Yeah, cheers, girls.
Gilly, coming back to you, this is your second club with Matt. How do you feel about rejoining them back at another club, different location?
Yeah, like for me, I've always played down south. Down south, with the sounding really common now. So I've always been in London clubs, and then knew probably January last year that I probably wasn't going to stay at West Ham. So then it was sort of, where do I go next? So obviously I said to my partner, listen, there's a good chance we're going to be moving. Like, we better get prepared. We didn't know where. And then obviously then when the season finished, it was then obviously then the chats happened, and obviously reached out to Beardy. And I think then as soon as there was interest there, for me it was anyone could have come in, but I knew I wanted to go. And I just said for me it was just, I just want to enjoy my football, and I know with Beardy I do. I just wanted to be in a good environment, and obviously I'd kept an eye on what you guys were doing last year as well, and obviously watched the documentary that you've done too. So it gave me a little bit of an insight before I come, but obviously I'd heard good things anyway, and I think it's true what they say in the sense of it's about having the right players and obviously having that family environment and good teammates, and I'd like to think I've fitted in that sense, and that's what I wanted more so than everything, is just to not have the stress. And yeah, we love it up here.
How different is the north from down south? And obviously you were talking about obviously a family environment. I'm just gonna talk about dogs. I'll bring dogs into the conversation, just dropping it in there. So obviously you've moved the dogs up, you've come up north. How's the north treating you?
Unfortunately, I missed the first day of pre-season because...
Shame.
Didn't miss much. Just a lot of running, mate. It's all right.
Someone to miss.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, my girl dog, Biscuit, decided to go into labour. She had all the weekend to go in, and she started at like 8:30 on the Tuesday morning. But she had 7 healthy puppies. Beardy knew she was pregnant. He always said, I want one of the boys. So then obviously we had 2 boys. So He took one of the boys on, and then his sister took one of the girls. So
Right. Class.
Rex they've called him. And the kids love him, but he's a proper like bruiser of a dog as well.
So he lost
He's
his name
not
Chunks?
warm in.
Jill,
Yeah.
have seen him.
Did he lose
He
Chunks
was-
as a name? I was
Yeah.
calling him Chunks.
He
He was the
He
chunkiest
was a
one out
little
of them all,
bruiser.
wasn't
He was lush though.
Aye, well,
His
all of them were
big
lush.
Talk about the
man.
day when she brought all of them in.
Aye,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
That was just
was
it.
the
It's true
happiest day
puppy
of my
therapy,
life.
innit? Really,
Mate,
like,
honestly, it is.
I'm telling you
Put a smile
now,
on everybody's face.
everyone was skipping out of training
Aye,
that
they
day.
were,
You
aye.
guys were in training. I was sneaking off the training ground and hanging out with the dogs. I'm like,
I said, "Where's Hev?" She was like the whole time she was in there with the puppies.
Hev and I were just sitting there
Little
playing
Hev.
with the dogs. I'm like, you're not sleeping today. You're playing.
What a day.
Yeah, I mean, where we live, we've literally got the beach on our doorstep. Which one of my dogs is just Dodger is like in his element,
Dodger.
bowling
Dodger.
around. Yeah.
I love it.
We've actually got Tubbs, Biscuit,
Wonder why.
and Dodger. Yeah. So we like our biscuits, we do. But yeah, so we've obviously got them, and yeah, Dodger loves it, like the beach. It's something that we're not used to down obviously where we live.
Down south.
Down south, you don't get beaches down there unless they're man-made, mate. So
Pebbles.
yeah, so no, it's been a little bit colder recently and a little bit wet.
A little
And
bit.
family have been having decent weather down south. So little things like that, obviously we've got to adjust to. I know I'm getting a lot of warnings about winter in the north.
Mate,
Brace yourself, mate. It's coming.
literally,
It's
winter's
actually giving me
coming.
anxiety, thinking about it.
You might want
because
a windsuit. Do you have one of
Really?
those? Careful when you open the doors.
Is it bad?
Do you know these heating bills? All I'm saying, mate, is wrap up warm.
I say go get some more duvets from IKEA.
Really?
Mate. Like,
Yeah, it's
oh.
giving me anxiety talking about and thinking about winter.
You'll be all right, man. We've got skins. We've got.
You'll get used
I'll have
to
to
it.
just fatten up a little bit.
Aye.
Get a bit more
Get them
warmth.
biscuits down here.
Tubs and biscuits. Come on.
Yeah, but no, apart from that, like, yeah, we're loving it.
Right. Obviously, you're living in Liverpool. You've got family that are from Liverpool. You know, how do you find it kind of representing the badge, living in the city, having, your family connection here? Like, how are you finding Liverpool?
I mean, it's a dream come true for me. Like, most people talk about playing for their favorite clubs, but for me, it's more so playing for my favorite club and also coming back home in a way. It's never been my home, but it's been my family's home. My grandparents, although they've passed, it's where they grew up. And it's where my dad has so many fond memories as a kid. And I remember, like, when my parents come down or my dad comes down, walking around Stephen Park and goes, "Oh, that's where my aunt used to live. That's where my grand used to live." And it's like, oh, it's
class,
like that little touch of home. And we talk about the city, and as you can see, you fit in so like seamlessly here, but the people here are absolutely amazing. We were talking about it earlier, but like my hometown is very similar to here, and it's just that cozy. Everyone's so kind and nice, and it makes it a lot easier transitioning from obviously a big jump over the water. Like it's not like next door. It's a massive jump. So when I came here a couple years ago, being with the people that I'm with now, it just became so easy and comfortable. I feel like I can walk anywhere and everyone's going to say hi and how you doing, and they just genuinely care about you.
We do up north, like.
But I
we
will
are
say one
nice.
thing. When I did first move here, people are so kind, but when they ask, "Are you all right?" I'm like, do I not look all right? Like, do I look sad?
Yeah. Should I not be okay?
Yeah, and then I picked up. It's like, how
It's
are
just-
you? Like,
Yeah, like, oh, you all right?
yeah. So now I'm always going, "You all right?"
That's like when Matt comes in, he's like, "What's happening?" I'm like, "Do I answer? Do I not?
Do I tell him what's
do I just
actually
nod my
happening?
head? I'm like, is it a
Well,
question? Is it rhetorical? I don't know.
Leah and Kieran goes, "What's the crack?" And I'm like,
Aye.
"Is that
another one?
gossip? Is that? I don't know what that means."
Most of the time,
It
I
is.
can't understand Matt though.
No,
What
no.
you'll know? What's his?
Give us some Cockney rhyming, Jill.
it's like all the when he said the other day, just play it around the Jimmy Horner, and Sting went,
aye.
"What?"
I
Can
know.
you say that in
Corner.
English, please? Aye.
And Emma's like
Emma's
this.
face like this.
Like Emma did, like
She's
literally.
like, "I'm
No
trying to
idea.
learn English, but this
honestly,
isn't working."
Emma's
she
like,
looks and smiles.
she like that smiles and nods or goes. Like you can just tell whether
She's got a few faces like
Aye,
that.
she has.
She's
like,
like,
you know with Emma.
You can have a dead conversation like her like this, and she looks at you like, and you can just tell she's not with the conversation. It's
She looks at us and discussed it quite a bit in the changing rooms.
What said in our change room stays in our
Stays,
change
yeah,
room.
doesn't leave.
It's not for.
For a long time though, Matt was going, "How's your Gregory Beck?" Gregory Beck? Gregory Peck.
Peck.
All right, there we go. See,
See, this
I'm
is how
still not
confused it
him.
is, yeah?
And I used to go, my what?
Sorry?
It's okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, what are you talking about? Your neck.
Oh.
No, I
My
know.
neck is
No, it's
good.
okay.
Yeah, thank you. It's not Gregory.
Speaking of necks, it's about a year on since the accident.
Yeah, almost a week until a year.
Yeah, do you
Wow.
want to update us on, the rehab and stuff you're doing at the
Yeah.
moment and how your life is in general now?
Life is good. Life is busy now. So no longer staying at home watching Netflix. I'm coming to you guys every now and then. Out of the braces, as we can tell. I've been out of the braces since July, so that's really enjoyable. I'm in rehab every single day of the week except for the weekend, so it's quite intense. I probably spend about 5 hours on average there a day. And I wish I could say it's a blast. But anyone who's been through a recovery process, like I know Fernie, you went through it recently. I know you've had your stint. And we've all had our stints in rehab and serious injuries. It's not the most enjoyable atmosphere, but I'm really fortunate to have you guys around me, supporting me 100%. So it's nice to come to the environment and, kind of get uplifted. Like you talk about that family atmosphere. I come in the mornings and everyone's having breakfast together. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
nice.
so cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Making coffees, making teas. But in general, like I'm doing all right. I'm progressing in ways, and it's exciting to be able to do things and look more like an athlete again. I think for the longest time, I identified myself as some fragile-looking human, and I felt fragile.
Understandable,
Yeah, and now I'm feeling like, oh, I'm lifting weights, I'm deadlifting again.
getting
And
there,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh.
like, things are coming off the ground, holding weight with my neck. So it's exciting. Don't get me wrong, it's mentally a journey, but yeah, I'm doing okay.
Good.
I'm alive.
That's good. This is the thing, though. I think I remember the phone call off Matt Rye when you first did it. He says, Riley's been in an accident. I thought, okay. And at the first, I said, is she okay? And he was like, no, not really. And, when you just don't know what to say. And I was like so, and I can't remember what I said. I don't think I said much. And he was like, she's like lucky to be alive. And I was like, good God, like this is bad. Yeah. And I think we went in the next day. That was a Monday. We went in on the Tuesday and we got updated in the meeting. And it was just like, obviously, it's such a shock because you never, ever expected one to happen to somebody two, just to happen in general. You never really hear about it. And I think for me, you put smiles on our faces. And I know I've said this a lot of time in interviews when I get asked about it. And if it had happened to me, I don't think touch wood, I don't think I'd ever be like you are, mate, and the outlook you have on it and, how you hold yourself, because you could be the opposite and, seclude yourself and be very down all the time, which would be so understandable. Like that's probably how 99% of people are. But I think the way you are, mate, and have held yourself, that's credit to you. And I don't think a lot of people would have dealt with it how you've dealt with it. And, I can only speak for me, but like you come in, mate, and you put a smile on our faces because of how you are. And I think for me, like we all get little knocks and stuff, but yours was totally different, mate. It was life-changing, and the way you've handled it, like we can all take a little bit from that.
Yeah, because I think, we actually take strength from seeing how strong you've been. So like you are, like, and I'm obviously not just saying it, but you probably is an inspiration, like, to so many. And like, do you know when we get a little knock and we're like complaining, like, look at the bigger picture.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? And we're complaining over something so small, like life, can be flipped on your head.
Quite literally. Quite literally.
I didn't mean to even say that. Sorry.
You could shoot at a windshield
I was actually
anytime
trying
now.
to be serious there, but no, like that's what I'm saying. You've even now, like, you're smiling, you're upbeat, and that is so like inspirational for like so many to see. Like, and I obviously speaking of like you putting smiles on our faces and how positive you've been, but like I do want to kind of touch on the mental, obviously your mental health and how you've dealt with that, because obviously speaking now, it hasn't been all rosy, let's be honest, and you've probably had some tough times. So, obviously, how have you found it mentally, from just kind of speak of your growth, because obviously you're in a much better, stronger place now, but it obviously always hasn't been like that.
No, it's definitely not been easy. I think you go back to the first day it happened, and honestly, I don't remember the first week or two. Thank you, painkillers. Thank you so much. But you're in a bit of shock. And I think I went through a phase of shock for so long. And I'll be honest, I didn't process what happened, and I would be lying to say that I have processed what happened now. It comes in phases and it comes in waves. And you talk about the phases of grief, and I went through this phase of just pure bliss and tranquility of being alive. Like, I survived the unheard, and
Yeah,
like the doctors are looking at me like, what are you, some alien? Like,
How are you still here?
how are you still
Yeah.
here? And it's like, but then all of a sudden it starts to weigh on you, and you hear it more, and the more the story gets out and the more people hear about it in the different perspectives, and you go, wait, how am I alive? Like, how am I here? And it kind of, it does touch home a little bit, and it pulls the heartstrings a little bit. Like,
right,
it's hard to really imagine that that's actually happened. And I think we talk about what everyone else sees, and it's weird. The other night I couldn't sleep. I was wide awake, and I thought, it's Mental Health Awareness Week. I'm going to type something about how I'm feeling, just for myself to reflect on how I feel. And it was crazy, the things that I was reading myself write, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is really how it is. And you talk about the dark moments and what everyone else sees, and it's like, oh, just kick on. Like, it's just a phase. It'll go by. Like, keep pushing through. And it's like, no, and internally, it's a battle. Like, you're battling every day to show up. And I think there's a lot of people who can relate to this, and maybe yourselves can too. It's every day you put a smile on your face, because you know what, the people around you are who matter the most. Like, I don't want you guys to think, oh, she's going down, and like, it doesn't look good. But I bring the smile because I actually do feel good.
Obviously, Leanne Kiernan is, bless her, recently had.
Just got goosebumps when you said her name.
No,
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
Oh my God, she was even in today, and like, she's so
With a smile on her face.
bubbly. She's so bubbly, but like, obviously she's went through, you know, she's just been operated on. She's in great spirits. I don't know why she thought the day after she was operated on, she was going to be able to get on a
Still
ferry
confused.
back to Ireland.
Still
And I was like,
confused.
mate, like, but that's just,
That's Leanne.
yeah, she's
it
away
is.
with the
Leanne.
fairies, isn't she?
I've had a lot of time with Leanne, and we've spent a lot of good coffee talks, and I think it's good for both of us in the way of, I know where she's coming from, especially when it comes to a serious injury, and this is probably her first really big injury, and we've had some really good conversations about how to just be there for the team, but also how to put herself
Take
first.
time for yourself, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And it's the pressure to feel like you have to be around. If she's gonna feel that, the pressure to feel like she's gonna have to do well in rehab every day and show up every day, like, I just told her, like, take it day by day.
Absolutely.
And she kept on asking me, right, I don't know how you've done this. How do you do it? And I just thought, I don't know either. But all I know is that I show up every day. You figure it out. You take the day for what it is, and you just keep on trotting along. I got a new tattoo recently, and it just says now. I got a lot
tattoos.
recently. Yeah.
I was meant to ask about that.
There's one in the back of my arm. It's a happy, sad face kind of thing. You see this?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's
Like
the
a
idea of not
triceps.
getting too in the gym lately, guys.
Triceps.
But it's the idea of not being too high or not being too low, and staying in balance with yourself. And there's hundreds more. Like, I got 8 in one sitting.
Well, I haven't got that
Tattoo
long, right?
therapy. Yeah, no, sorry. But yeah, the idea of just staying in the now. That's what I told Leanne. It's just stay in the now. Take it day by day. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, because the world supports you. Like, we're all supporting you, and there's no
Yeah.
need to feel like you got to be back by a certain day. Just take it day by day. Breathe a bit and enjoy.
It is Mental Health Awareness Week, and I know I've spoken to people in the past about it. It is good to speak if you're feeling low and not feeling like you have to put a smile on your face just for others around you. And I'm going to come to you now, Gilly, because I know obviously you've spoken about it in the past quite openly. Obviously, so Mental Health Awareness Week, I just want to like touch on it, because obviously it means a lot to me to speak and not keep things in, and obviously you've spoken about it before in the past.
Yeah, so obviously I took an overdose when I was about 17 at the time, and it was something that I never wanted to speak about it. I just never felt like anybody really wanted to hear about it, sort of thing. And it was sort of like, as time was going on, it was just, I don't want to share my story, because I don't want people to say nasty things about me and all little bits like that. So, and to be brutally honest, in regards to like my family, after it happened, we never spoke about it, like ever. We just sort of brushed under the carpet, and we never said overdose. We always said, you know, when you did what you did, and I'd go, you know, when I did what I did, we knew then what we was talking about. And then I was at West Ham at the time, and it was just, I just felt like I was ready to talk about it. And I've had like loads of messages since, I think it was a couple of years ago now, since we did it, of people saying like, hearing your story stopped us from doing it. And for me, I said, if I can stop one person,
Absolutely.
then
mate.
I've achieved what I wanted to achieve.
I think it's so important to have a network of people you can honestly speak to, because letting it build up is the worst thing. We have some questions from social media that we're going to ask you. And the first one is, Rylee, who's your favourite goalkeeper?
Let's go one male, one female.
Okay, fair enough. I like that. I loved watching Pepe Reina play.
Good choice.
I think he's just class. Like his mindset, he's a freak in the goal. And then crazy enough, Aaron McLeod. I don't know if you guys remember.
Canada,
Canadian
yeah.
legend, yeah. At the time when I was younger, she was like one of the best in the world. But I personally look up to her as a human. She's been one of my role models and my mentors growing up through the national team, but also just in general in life. She's a sound human.
We can maybe ask this for both.
Yeah. Gilly, we'll start with you first. What was your best moment in football? Right, there's been a couple there.
For me is the FA Cup final with West Ham.
Oh, I'm livid you've said that, you know.
Because we were Reading
Because
at the
we were in
time.
the semi-final.
Oh, sorry, girls.
Do you
Do you know why? I don't want to. We'll skip that. We'll skip the semi.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the story behind it. So the year before, I was there with Chelsea, and we was playing Arsenal, and I was on the bench when Emma made her last sub. Obviously, I knew I weren't coming on, and it was that moment then where it was just like all my family were there, everyone was there. We'd beaten Arsenal because we'd lost the year before. But as much as I was happy for the girls, I was devastated, you know. And I remember sitting there in the bar bit afterwards, and this is like true to the word, yeah. We're sitting there, and my dad was sitting opposite me, and I said to my dad, I'm telling you this now. Like, obviously, I was fuming, but I was like, telling you this now. When I leave this club this year, I'm coming back here next year with my club, and I'm going to lead my team out.
Fair.
Right? And then it's mad
Fair.
because then I remember standing there in the I remember standing there in the tunnel, and I was behind Beardy, and I just remember just taking a couple of seconds, and I was just like,
Just got
wow,
goosebumps.
do you know what I mean? Like it was only then really, like, obviously my mum and dad and that were the only ones who knew about me saying that. And even though we'd lost against Man City, I was just proud as punch, and that was the
class.
best moment because of the story, you know. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's great.
There was a
playing
lot
there,
more to
but
it, aye.
It was that story of, oh my God, it's actually going to happen.
Rylee, do you want to tell us what was your best moment in football?
I've also been pretty blessed with like a lot of great opportunities. I mean, I played at different levels, and the most proud moment I've had was like walking out against United, my debut for the club. But for me, it has more of a deeper meaning. Not everyone gets to debut at the club, for the club that they dreamed playing of, against United, which is like one of the biggest rivalries for us, right?
Yeah.
But also I remember watching games with my grandparents of like the Liverpool United matches. That was like a game we always did together. That one or the Derby match. We'd always watch it together. So then I was the one playing it, and to start my career on like a note like that was very prideful for me. And although my parents couldn't be there, I remember after the game I just kind of took a moment. I ended up tearing up, and I'm not really an overly emotional person unless you really tick me off. But like the team played outstanding. It's just one of those ones that I'll never forget.
Yeah. Right, this one is a bit of a longer one. So, Rylee, can you take this one? My daughter's just started playing football. Bar fun, what aspect of the game should she be focusing on?
Ooh, that's a good one. She's young, I'm assuming, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Just start playing. Yeah, I'd assume so.
I think there's just simple techniques at that age. Like the idea of passing, and maybe you ever go to like a small sided game with the little kids and you see them all over the place and like little bees and like, wee.
Follow the ball.
Yeah, just kind of the idea of like the tactics, but you don't want to be too heavy. So it's just like for me personally, as a player, just doing the passing, the shooting,
Basics.
enjoyment. Yeah, the basics.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys would say because they're so young. You just want them to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be too heavy.
Yeah, basics is spot on, because I think at that age, sorry, we don't know how old she is, but if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to want to learn the basics. You're not going to want to go back. But if she does enjoy it and she does do it for fun, basics, I think, is a great shout, because you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's a decent place to start
Little
for a
touches
young,
in the
young
ball,
girl.
I think, are essential. Like my dad used to put me on a pitch or on the front lawn and spend hours just like doing little in, out, in, out.
Mhm.
Like
Just
little
little
flickers,
things,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Just to grow that. And also watching the game, you can do so much on the pitch, but I feel like you learn so much more from those who are ahead of you, and just especially our games and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you have our little like magicians on the pitch, and you have our
Yeah.
sound players who are just gonna put in like brute tackles.
Yeah.
So learning from the best, I guess, is the
Yeah.
best way to do it.
Yeah, good
No,
one,
like
good
little
one.
things. When I was growing up, I used to use a wheelie bin, right?
To, like,
I used
aim
to tip a
into.
wheelie bin over and use that as my target.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd like try and get it in the wheelie bin, and so if I'd hit it and it'd say hit off the wheel, hit the post,
Yeah.
hit the
Aye.
post, wherever it
Aye.
like say landed, then I'd try from that angle. So to try and get it in the wheelie bin.
See, mine was always the curb. Do you guys call them
Yeah,
curbs?
curbs, aye.
Like the pavement. So yeah, I used to curb. It's like my rebounder.
Oh,
I always get my
yeah.
touches on
Yeah,
there. My
yeah.
dad would either do it to a point where I'd hit it hard enough so it comes to my hands when I became a keeper later on. But a lot of it was just like working on my touch off of that because it is quite
Yeah.
sporadic. They're not all flat. And
Yeah.
it was fine.
It is simple and basics. I think that's a
Yeah, and
That's
if
a
you haven't
pretty
got
good one.
equipment, then
yeah.
just
use a curb.
Just use a curb. Everyone has a
Yeah.
curb. They're
You're
everywhere.
right. You're
Or
right.
a
You can find
jumper.
it anywhere.
jumper, jacket,
Jumper,
trainer,
something to aim for.
make it work.
You're right.
So, girls, we've swapped seats, and because we are on FIFA this year, we thought we'd end the show with a challenge of a game of FIFA against each other. So, up
Head
for
to
it?
head. Used to?
I'm up for it, but can't promise anything.
Let's go.
Right, to make it fair, you're both Liverpool women, but you can alter your teams if you like. Right, are we ready then? Who's that?
Captain?
Meg Campbell. That's Meg Campbell.
Lad, from this angle, it looked like they didn't have a top of their head. So, Liverpool v Liverpool at Anfield. Lad. Oh, who's that?
Is that you? Is this Neve?
Is that you with Priya? Mate, that's not.
Guys, look at my hair at the back.
No, right. Did you see? Apparently, Katie on the Nintendo Switch is baldy.
If
No,
you
I
need
know.
evidence, look at that Instagram profile photo.
Game on. Game on.
Where am I?
Here's Jazz. And a little bun. Go on, Jazz. If Jazz tried that, she'd fall over.
Snazzy Jazzy doing a step over.
Is it Meg?
Oh, brutal, Emma.
Emma Coy.
Nah.
That is
Who's that? Fight. Who give her a turtleneck?
Oh, no, it's Meg. It's Meg Campbell.
Oh my God. Come on,
Come on,
Mel.
Mel.
You're supposed to be fast.
Cross it.
Go on.
Head it.
Oh, look, there's me just arriving. And it's Katie Stengel. It's a pen. Oh.
Oh, Rylee. What a save.
Good in your prime.
Oh, save
what a
right.
save that is.
Hey, hold on. I should cross it and get on the end. But hold on, FIFA, because you've only got us heading at 55, so I can't head a ball. I mean, lad, look, I've got it resting on my chin like I'm a proper commentator. Oh, what a touch!
Oh, lad.
Mate, hey,
Lad, you've excelled in that half. Excelled.
nah.
Right, someone's got to score. Come on. Right, second half, here we go. Come on. The players' names on the screen.
Oh my God!
Referee!
Oh my God! That was bad. Oh, was it you? Look, mate. That was naughty, that. Megs went over to defuse the situation. Turn, slide. Oh, slide. Oh, go on. What? Assist.
Denise.
One more.
Oh, yes!
Mel's left. Was that Mel's left
That's
foot?
Mel Lawley's left peg.
Oh, hey.
I want to see that something. I gotta see that from Mel. What?
Great.
That's a lovely strike.
All
Mel
right, you
Lawley.
had no chance there.
That's actually funny.
Do you know what it reminded us of our goal against Sunderland last season?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Mr. Whippy. Oh, it's lovely.
Crossbar and him,
Really
man.
no
Lovely
chance,
that.
mate.
Superman
No
and
chance.
that. Papa.
Take us on a run, Jill. Go on, take us on a run.
Go on, Losey. Losey knows.
Oh, look at us go. Go on.
Losey nosebleed.
What
Nosebleed.
is my pace
Step
on
over.
FIFA?
Step over.
Diving header.
Oh, lad, I can't because I can't head a ball apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
Redeemed herself.
Go on, who's that? Go on, Em. Penrith. One ball. Oh, she's offside.
Offside.
Ah. All right,
she
that was your
wasn't.
chance there. Jazz's right foot's. Corner, last kick of the game.
Me.
I hope
Last
I
kick of the
never
game.
do that.
Me.
Clapping.
What's that?
Oh, full time. Gilly.
We'll let the corner play.
You go ahead in the corner.
Oh, nah. Hey, shake on it.
Everything
Girls, look, good game.
Nah,
1-0, scored a worldie by Mel.
I'm livid I didn't score, but I actually played well on both teams.
And girls, thanks for coming on. You've
Yeah.
been bloody great.
No,
Thanks for having
It's
us.
been a pleasure.
it's been
I'm gonna
great.
go ice my thumb now.